knee replacement recovery was a night sweat. I haven't sweat through anything in ages.
So this woman is talking about having symptoms after a total knee replacement surgery in general, and her symptoms being related to things that she experienced during perimenopause and menopause. And I'm going to tell you that you don't have to go through those things, and that it's not normal, it's just common. And the easiest way to look at it is, what system did we overwhelm when we did that? So even in perimenopause, menopause, or women who are cycling who have terrible menstrual cycles, the commonality between them is that it's the liver's job to process out estrogens. So she's on HRT, which means that she's likely getting estrogen, or she's getting testosterone that's being converted into estrogen. One of those two things is happening. She may also be getting progesterone. Well, that also, like all of those hormones, testosterone, progesterone, estrogen, all need to be processed by the liver. The one they forget to tell you about that also has to be processed by the liver is T3. T3 is a thyroid hormone that the thyroid barely produces, because 80% of your thyroid, active thyroid hormone T3, is produced in the liver and in the gut and in healthy muscle tissue, but mostly in the liver. And when perimenopause happens, or menopause happens, or a surgery happens, we overwhelm the liver with too many other things that it needs to process out, and we stop it from being able to produce appropriate amounts of T3. Well, T3 helps do things like regulate body temperature and heart rate. So you have a surgery and you've dumped all these toxins into the system to get the system to basically shut down without dying, right? And pain meds and sometimes they stick a pain pump in total knee replacement patients. So you've got all these things going through the liver that the liver now has to handle. And it's like, well, these hormones can do whatever they're going to do. I'm not responsible for them right now. I'm responsible for saving the life. One of the other jobs that the liver does is it creates bile, it cleans and recycles it, and then it places it in the gallbladder for storage. So if you're a female who's had your gallbladder removed, you're more likely to have symptoms after any kind of surgery, and you are more likely to have symptoms in perimenopause because your liver's overwhelmed with having to now produce bile every day, as opposed to having a storage duct to put it in where it can like recycle, clean, store it, because producing bile for digestion is expensive for the liver. So if you've struggled with a lot of cramping, a lot of like acne around your menstrual cycle, a lot of not feeling well, nausea, vomiting around your menstrual cycle, and then you go into perimenopause and you're still experiencing hot flashes, headaches, weight gain, temperature changes that seem irregular, cold hands and feet, they've told you you now have a thyroid condition, I'd check your liver. And if you've ever had trouble with medications, like you're one of those people who just seems to have every negative reaction possible to a medication, Tylenol, Benadryl, steroids, whatever it happens to be, I would also check your liver so that you understand a lot of that is your genetics. More specifically, it's epigenetics that you have control over. And I know for me, what I would do going into any surgery is a liver flush, like legit a liver flush. I know that for me, in any of the symptoms that I'm experiencing, if I start like feeling really low energy, low desire to do things, fatigue, brain fog, I start having like excessive hair shedding, I'm doing a liver cleanse. Issues with my digestion, liver cleanse. And you may think that this sounds crazy, but my mom, who's past mid-60s but less than 70, had a total knee replacement in 2009, and she took, no joke, 6 months to recover from that knee replacement. She had been put into a surgical menopause about 10 years prior to that. And she had severe symptoms with her cycles prior to that. She has an autoimmune disorder, and the meds that she's on, her liver enzymes have been out of control for over 2 decades. Like, out of control. Like, the radical hysterectomy that she had, she went into full-blown liver failure, got told she had autoimmune hepatitis, and she was completely jaundiced, like orange, not just a little yellow. So she got told she needed to have one of those knee replacements that she had a decade ago revised. And we decided, let's do a liver cleanse first to help you out. Not only did her liver enzymes come back into a lab normal, not optimal, but lab normal range for the first time in 2 decades, but she sailed through that surgery without issue. In the previous knee surgery, she had had an autoimmune flare that landed her in a wheelchair for 6 months, so that it took at least a year to get the second knee done when the surgeon said he'd do it 6 weeks later. This surgery, she was up and walking normally by day 3 with no side effects. And she's one of those people who also had her gallbladder removed, so like the digestive slowdown that she normally had, or the paralysis from anesthesia of the gut that happens for a lot of people, she didn't even experience that because her liver was capable of doing all of its jobs. On top of that, for the first time in 30 years, she wasn't on a thyroid medication because her thyroid was functioning normally. Just keep that in mind. So if you're somebody who struggled your whole life with your cycle, or you're somebody who has responded negatively to medications, and you are getting ready to do a surgery, liver cleanse. Hope this helps.